And welcome everybody. As you can see, Warhammer Total War Reality is a reality. And here with me is Everything Amiibo. Sadly enough,
Everything Amiibo.
Whatever.
Yeah, so I'm Otto from Everything Amiibo, this is Kingstrategist. Obviously, we're going to discuss Total War Warhammer. I'm a big fan of Total War, and so is Ross. Should we start over?
Screw it.
Yeah, so is Kingstrategist. We're both big fans of Total War, but he is actually a big fan of Warhammer also. So I'm kind of a noob as far as Warhammer stuff goes, so he'll be answering most of the stuff about Warhammer. Anyway, let's get started with the start of the trailer. Ross, who in the world is that guy?
What guy are we talking about here? This guy, this guy, this dragon, that midget.
Just click on
yes.
Right, hit the edit scene button.
Yes, this
There, just
this
shake
guy.
the picture.
This guy.
Yeah, who
Well,
is he?
sadly enough, I don't have an idea.
Well, that's unfortunate.
But
he's human, right?
yes, of course he's human. I mean, like, if we compare him to the dwarf height-wise...
Why are you shouting so much?
This is my thing. It's my thing. I shout.
Anyway. Yeah, so he's a human, some sort of mage, and...
Well, from what we can tell, he's a Tzeentch mage. And oh yes, my nerd powers have activated. This fellow here is a believer of the Chaos Gods. And as you may know, the word chaos means destroy everything in your path as much as possible. This guy...
Okay, I think it's time to move on.
No. This guy is summoning something. Sadly enough, our editing skills were not good enough to find the massive death pigeon.
We did, it didn't look so good. Anyway, so the first class, the first, faction he introduces, that up a bit, that's gonna annoy people with OCD. No, down a bit, up a bit.
There.
Try and make it equal with whatever.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, so my guess is that the four factions that we were introduced to here, so the humans, the orcs, the undead, and the dwarves, are going to be the four main factions you can play as, like Total War style, so the countries, basically. The first faction was the orcs. They look like they're going to have a lot of units, I guess, and charge at people. Ross, what do you think? Yeah,
well,
that bit's fine.
These are orcs. Well, what do we expect? Like, they're on warthogs, they got shaggy armor, their weapons are bad, and there's more, as you can see, they actually outnumber everyone else in the screenshots we've taken. The only real advantage that I see the orcs having is just sheer brutal numbers and brutality.
So if it's kind of like the old games where you have political stuff, how in the world are the orcs going to organize
They smash stuff.
Like,
you get the biggest...
You elected orc number 5 as the orc king, or, you know, surely all the factions would have to have a different political system.
Well, the orcs, I would believe, the more combat you do, the more happier your population is.
That makes sense.
And because the orcs thrive in Warhammer because they fight, the more they're in a war zone for any given amount of time, the more numbers their army will get. And because they're like, I don't know, mushrooms, they'll spread. They literally spread.
Orcs are like mushrooms.
Yes, you may look that up.
Yeah. So, that's orcs done, I guess. Next faction he introduces are the undead. Now, I literally have zero clue, because I have played some Warhammer with Ross. I know a bit about the orcs, but I'd never heard about the undead ever.
The undead are fantasy exclusive. These guys were a pain in my behind back in the days. You know what they used to do? They used to be able to summon armies of the undead, as their name suggests. And you see, he has a massive dragon. But may I take your attention to this object here?
Again, Ross, I don't think I can see the mouse. Sorry.
If we crawl along the left dragon wing, or right, depending on your view, you'll see a massive circular rock-shaped object.
It's another moon.
It is the Chaos Moon.
Okay, the Chaos Moon.
This is when mages are the most powerful. So, we might be looking at every month, magic gets a bonus, allowing the vampires to summon hordes of undead in your province.
You can definitely see, because there's all these, like, the ground is different, and it does different things, like, oh, you're fighting in the forest, but surely in, like, a magical-ish world, you'd have cool things like, it's this month of the moon, so magic is stronger, or there's an invasion from space.
To be honest, every day in Warhammer's a new invasion or a new catastrophe.
Yeah, so that'll add some, like, spice to it. Oh, before we go any further, release date-wise, What
We
were you
have-
thinking? I was thinking it was going to be released 2016, like summer or something quite.
Well, I recently looked up the forums after looking away from my books, and it's really unknown. Like, we could be looking at any time because people are saying they've been working on it for a while.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a separate studio, so they could have been working on it before Attila and everything.
If they rush it and just use the
Yeah.
Attila engine, people are going to be angry.
Yeah.
Because they ain't going to exactly be happy seeing, I don't know, an individual unit of orcs costing £1,000.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
What do you think about like seeing stuff like Asian mythology? Right, we're still on undead here. You know how you can just deploy like a phoenix or something, right? Just deploy some skeletons and it feels normal. But see, in Total War, you can't just like so you'd have to have like a platoon of phoenixes or a platoon of undead dragons.
Here's
you
the
know?
beauty of Warhammer. Their armies do get to such a ridiculous extent that you could have squadrons of dragons flying over the field of battle. However, there is a massive catch. I'm afraid that, as shown by the dragon here, there are no dragons in the picture other than him.
Yeah.
And this means that dragons might be expensive.
Yeah, they'll probably be like artillery or something. You know?
No, we're looking heavy cavalry.
No, but heavy cavalry still has a bunch of heavy cavalry. You know, it's a single unit.
But think about it.
There's no Total War game that like you buy just a single unit of it, like a massive war pig or something.
There was in Medieval 2 the famous Temujin cannon or something like that.
Oh, I know what it's like. The heroes you could buy in Rome 2.
Ah, yes, the hero.
Like, but you never fought with them, but it could totally work the exact same way. A single character that walks along the game board but can actually fight, or they might not even fight.
They could be even attached to the armies. This is beautiful.
Yeah,
we don't
that
know.
would work.
I mean, like, with the problem with the undead, however, because they can raise units, we don't know if their magic will be orientated around strengthening their numbers of the undead.
Yeah.
Which would be quite annoying, considering the fact.
Yeah, they're gonna have trouble balancing this. Seriously.
Well, to be honest,
it's gonna be confusing.
I guess it's going to be different stages. Like, for example, the undead will have a great early game because of the hordes, but if they don't,
so would the orcs.
but mid game they'll struggle. But then in late game they'll get vampire dragons.
Okay.
That is all the description we need.
So, dwarfs, Ross's favorite.
Oh
Kingstrategist.
yes.
Sorry.
You know what? They already know. We've already said it 3 times. Anyway, the dwarfs were once a mighty and proud race until they got spiders. Like, the orcs messed them up. They're on the back edge. But the dwarfs will, I reckon, will probably be the best siegers in the game.
Yeah, surely.
I mean, like, if we take, for example, a wall, the average human could hide behind a wall. But if the wall gets hit enough with enough cannons, then the wall will collapse. But the dwarfs, however, do not have walls. They live in mountains.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna be the best, like, defensive and offense for siege.
And
that'd be crazy. Because they can just each hold a cannon or something and
Well,
walk into battle.
they hold the heaviest armor in the game.
Yeah.
On the board game, there's no such... The definition of light infantry in the dwarf manual is literally a guy with a 4-up armor save, and on a 6-sided dice, your chances are pretty high.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else to say about the dwarves?
let me pull out me novels.
I meant, like, in regards to Total War.
Well,
Or Total Warhammer, as I like to
The
call it. It's so
dwarfs-
perfect, Total Warhammer.
we just were about the war.
Yeah, I don't. Rub out one of the wars. I don't know
No,
which one.
we won't need
Yeah,
war.
rub out that
It will
war.
just be Total Warhammer.
Yeah.
Because war's already in there.
Yeah. It's genius.
Right, we could do that, right. But it's actually a rather interesting question about the dwarfs. Because the dwarfs also have their chaos kin in the west.
Okay.
We don't know if they'll be included. Which means, if they're not included,
What
The-
are they? What are they also dwarves?
they're yes, they're dwarfs. They're just chaos.
Yeah, well, what I'd imagine then is you'd have a bunch of different, like, quote-unquote, countries for each faction, you know, so you'd have a bunch of, like, the northern orcs, and the southern orcs, and the eastern
Well-
dwarves, and then they'd all be, because you can't have a Total War game with 4 factions, or, like, 5 or
Well,
6.
there's obviously going to be more. Like, this is just a trailer
Yeah,
showing
of
us
course,
the
of
glimpses.
Well, Ross, how many factions in total are there in Warhammer? Like,
Well,
quick guess.
let's think here. There's about, I don't know, I'll roughly put it at 12 or 16.
Just all together. Like,
Yeah.
For example, Space Marines, in 40k, they have all their little like different like the blood people and the blue people and the right. If
But
you counted all of those as separate factions in the original Warhammer, how many?
Space Marines is a very difficult question to answer. Because each Space Marine chapter,
Yeah,
which is
chapter,
like
there
a
we
thief, has individual sub-chapters.
go. Okay,
But-
well, in the original, do they have anything like that?
In the original,
Yeah.
well, each race is unique in its own regards. For
Yeah,
example,
Yeah.
each vampire count will have their own independent country. The dwarfs
Okay.
will probably be a string of alliances. They don't go to war
Yeah.
with one another.
Yeah, so there'll probably be plenty of different
And
factions
orcs and
stuff
goblins,
within each
politics, smash it.
one. Ah.
Wah! Wah! That was a
Super
good
rockets.
debate.
Okay, so yeah, and then there's the human guy with his massive bird right at the end.
Sadly enough, the picture wasn't high quality.
it was just too dark. But yeah, that massive bird looks fun. But even that, how in the world are you going to implement a massive bird into Total War?
Well, as modders
Just,
have
like,
shown us,
stop
it's not
some-
that hard.
As what?
As modders have shown us, you may not be aware of what was it
Call
called?
of War.
Yes, Call of Warhammer. There we go. It was an okayish mod. I mean, like, I couldn't
Warhammer
get it down.
Advanced Warfare.
We do not need Advanced Warfare. Never make the reference again. But what I find rather interesting is how he touched a book at the beginning of this trailer,
Uh-huh.
and it turned him in chaosy. So are we looking at, like, if you have a mage in a place for such and such a long time, and if chaos seeps into the province, will you have to deal with demon armies being summoned behind
Yeah.
your back?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's a huge
Yeah.
problem.
There's definitely big, like, there's much more room for lots of, like, fun story and story that affects gameplay like that. Like, something like overusing magic powers or something is going to awaken something. You gotta be careful.
It's
But
always going to awake something.
yeah.
It's the universe of Doom, man. What are you going to do?
So, yeah, that's our discussion of Total War Warhammer. I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm sure Ross is very much looking forward to it. And he will definitely have gameplay of it, right?
Of course.
As soon as it
My
comes out.
exams will be done by then, hopefully.
By 2016.
By 2016.
Yeah, Ross's exams will. Sorry, Kingstrategist exams.
You know
will
what?
be done.
As I said this before, you ruined the magic.
No, I'm sorry. I'll just call you Kingstrategist. from
No,
now.
no, no, no.
It's your
Viewers, my name is Baraka Makada Bovana. Remember that.
Everybody knows my name. I say it at the start of every video. Anyway, so
gotta
yeah,
say
Ross
that
will
now.
definitely have that by.
Barack Obama Bovana.
You've changed it. Yeah.
I will
so
change
Barack
it.
will definitely have that by whenever it comes out. So make sure you subscribe to King Strategist to stay tuned for that. And if you like Nintendo stuff,
Please don't. Don't. He doesn't need any more subscribers.
Okay,
I need time to catch up.
Okay,
It looks
Do
bad.
not subscribe to me. Just subscribe to King Strategist because he
But
does awesome
if
stuff.
you are
but he doesn't get
interested
enough
in-
views. So sad. Too bad.
18 views in the last month. Come on. Right. But guys,
Well,
in
your
all
last
honesty,
upload was a month ago, so.
doesn't matter. But guys, in all honesty, if you're interested into Nintendo stuff and Pokemon cards, subscribe to Everything Amiibo. Like
Amiibo. It's not
Amiibo.
an
Amiibo. Amiibo. But he's better. Like, if you take my knowledge of Warhammer into Pokemon cards, you were the creator of the game. But anyway,
That's a really confusing.
don't forget to comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. English.
Wait. If you enjoyed this discussion, please give it a like, because Ross gets barely any likes, and he tries very hard. And I thought this discussion was pretty good. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Just had to go in and ruin my ending. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, and all that jazz. And subscribe to Everything Amiibo.
Amiibo, there's an M.
Amiibo! And